Hi lovelies, so today I want to take you through a really effective exercise to do before we get into 2020, and it's going to get you thinking about all the different areas that make up your life and whether there are any assessments and just adjustments that need to be made so that you can really start 2020 on the best foot forward. And I feel like we get so focused on setting our intentions and goals for the year ahead, but in order to do that and have a really purposeful or intentional year ahead, we need to actually take a step back and reflect on all of the areas in our life at the moment and just how we've been going about our days throughout 2019. So I've written down all these different areas that we're going to look at, so feel free to grab a pen and paper while we do this video, or while you watch this video, because as I'm doing it, it's not in real time. Anywho, the life of a YouTuber. So the first area that we're going to look at our inventory is our emotions. So taking a little emotional inventory, who do you need to forgive? Maybe it's someone else, maybe it's within yourself, and what feelings need to be expressed or acknowledged. So have a think about that. Is there anything that you need to let go of? What is no longer serving you? And also, how can you just be kinder to yourself so you're not carrying baggage into 2020? Next area is a mental inventory. So are there any self-limiting thoughts you've been having lately, and how could you speak more encouragingly to yourself? So not only noticing the emotions that you're having, but what kind of thoughts have you been having lately, and how can you change them or reframe them so that you're being kinder to yourself? Next one is a relationship inventory. So who in your life energizes and supports you? Be really mindful. And are there any relationships that are draining your energy? Now think about decluttering your life and spring cleaning, and that involves not only the physical things in your home, but even the relationships or any drainers in your life, because you don't want to be taking them into 2020. You want to make sure that you're feeling as energized as possible and as supported as possible as well. Next is a little health and wellness inventory. So if your body could talk to you, what might it try and tell you? I think the body is a phenomenal and incredibly wise tool that we have to listen to if we choose to, if we can tap in and really be mindful. So what would your body want from you? What is it craving? What are you not giving it? And could you treat your body kinder and nourish and nurture it even better going forward into 2020? Now I actually did this a couple months back, but I'm going to do it again as we're getting closer to the new year, because I think it's something that you should do regularly. But this is a financial inventory. So look over your monthly expenses carefully and think about where you could save. I went through my online bank statements and I realized that there was a fair bit of decluttering that needed to happen and a lot of saving that could actually take place. I ended up cutting down unnecessary expenses and cancelling the memberships that I no longer use. Like, I realized that I had a membership for some website that I used to use to edit my thumbnails, and I don't use it anymore, and that was $100 a year. So I ended up saving a significant amount, and I think it's a really good time. We're all in this frame of mind of being really proactive and wanting to set goals. So I just feel like taking a financial inventory at this point of the year, it's a really good time to do it because we're all in that kind of a go-getter mood. Now we're up to career, which makes up a big part of all of our lives. So a career inventory, 2 questions that I've included. Is what you are doing aligned with your values? And is your work draining you or energizing you? So basically these are 2 questions that I really had to consider very carefully throughout this year, because I noticed that I was doing so much, and some of the things I was doing, I wasn't really doing out of love and passion. It was actually draining me. And I realized that there were also areas where I could be working smarter and not harder. So I just think these questions are key, especially if you're prone to burnout. Like, you need to sit down and ask yourself these questions. Now, I feel like we do not focus enough on this next area, but it's a creativity inventory. So how can you prioritize time for your hobbies and creativity? And is there something you'd like to try and haven't made time for yet? So I definitely did ask myself these questions at the start of this year, and that's why I took up a lot of creative hobbies. I was going to pottery every Monday. I've actually done 5 terms this year. I've made about 50 pottery pieces throughout my apartment and gifted a lot. But I got into candle making, I was making wheat bags or heat packs, pottery. Last year I was doing watercolor. So it's so important to actually make time for creativity, because I feel like it's one of the first things to go, especially as you get into adult life and you start focusing on work, and it's like we don't make time for it anymore, but it's so important for our mental health. So definitely write that one down. I don't know if there are any hobbies I want to take up that I haven't. Actually, I do want to get back into dancing, so maybe that's something I can focus on for next year. Okay, an organization inventory. Are there any areas of your life that need decluttering? So this relates to one of the previous areas. So think about this as a matter of fact, like actual physical items in your home, cleaning out your desk or your cupboard, but also thinking about other things that could be cluttering your life, whether it is over flooding your schedule, like, you know, just jam packing everything into one day, decluttering your mind, working through different negative thoughts and self-limiting beliefs, decluttering your relationships, getting rid of toxic relationships. All of these drainers in our life we need to be really mindful of and make sure that we're selecting what we want in our life and what we don't want going forward. Now the last area, it's an unfinished business inventory. So do you have any loose ends that need tying up? I was going to say tidying up, but tying up. And what commitments do you still need to follow through on? I feel like this is the time of year, especially with work. I feel like this relates most to my career life than like personal life. That, you know, there might be different projects that I'm still working on and I need to just finish up, or I've got to submit something. So maybe this is also similar for you if you're a student or you're running your own business. You know, what kind of loose ends do you need to tie up? I also like to take a break over the Christmas New Year period. So I like to make sure that I've tied up all my loose ends for Education Re and Self-Love Club. I've scheduled everything, everything's automated. I can afford to then take off a couple of weeks because I've thought about everything well ahead or in advance, and I'm just preparing for that break. Now I'm going to have all of those questions in the description box down below if you want to print them out, complete this activity in your own time, but I really hope that you find it helpful. And you can even do this exercise throughout the year, multiple times a year, at the end of every quarter if you like. I just think it's a really effective way to take stock and make sure that you're creating a life that is driven with purpose and is really aligned with your values. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and go and follow me at Study with Jess on Instagram, because I'm posting there very regularly and some different kind of content and little words of wisdom, inspo and advice. I'll see you guys next week with another video. Have a beautiful week. Mwah. Bye.